Good day, everybody. I'm here with special guest, my wife, Cheryl. You often don't see her because she's in this bed a lot, and so I joined her to do coffee talk this morning. Kevin and Chris are on vacation, so I thought, hey, if you're up for it, and you said you would try, so so we look back and then we look forward, so we'll just do the same thing with you. On Sunday, we started a new series in 1 John, Living in the Light of Love, and we kind of gave an overview of 1 John from the Bible Project, and we looked at the first 4 verses, and I'm just wondering what stood out to you.
I guess just the whole love thing, of course. I love Bible passages that talk about love because it's so central, and there's so many, right, that it's just so central to who we are as Christians. But again, to be reminded that loving God draws us automatically to loving others. I think that was a big thing that just was like, right, I have to remember that my love, as I get closer to God, my love for others will increase. And
Well, and I see that in you. I think a lot of people do. I remember that being a big thing in that seminary class that I talked about. When we translated the book, we talked about it, and we talked several different times, but some people were more naturally inclined to love people. They like, I feel it when I love people. And other people in the class were like, man, I don't really enjoy I struggle with people, but I'm good with God, right? And we were just like, wow, some of us really need to work on the loving people part, because that's part of loving God, and other people are like, I need to remember that this is loving God, is loving people. So that's a huge thing. Anything else?
well, here's a more theological question.
Oh, okay.
Well, you were just talking, it was the Bible Project. They were talking about how 1 John is a poetic sermon. And, as an English major, I'm just like, ooh, that's great. And like that it had cyclical repetition and hyperbole. And it's like, when you think of the Bible, you don't think of hyperbole, because it's like almost like exaggerating things. And you think that the Bible is very literal, and that, every word is exactly literal. And so just to think of this as a poetic sermon, and that it has hyperbole, and also just that 1 John is a poetic sermon, because when you think of poetry, you think of like Psalms or Song of Solomon. And so I guess my question is, what does that mean, a poetic sermon? Does it mean like it was rhyming, or is there like a way that it was written that makes it poetic? And I think you should start doing your sermons in poetic.
Should I put it to song too?
Yeah, that would be great.
I can't remember him saying poetic sermon, but I thought his point was, it's not like a typical letter like Paul wrote, where it's like, I'm going to start off with the theology of here's who you are, and then here's what you do. Like Ephesians is kind of broken in half. Romans is kind of like that as well. And addressing problems like first this, then that, then this. What I thought he meant was, you see these different themes kind of coming back, and he comes at it from one angle, then he comes at it from another angle, and he comes at it from another angle. So I thought that's what he meant by sermon letter. Poetic is, the hyperbole is all part of poems. And did they say poetic letter?
Yeah, they said it's poetic sermon.
Yeah.
And that had like stark contrasts and hyperbole and cyclical repetition.
Right, yeah, exactly. And so, all of that. And that's the thing with the Bible, there's a lot of different genres, and it's part of knowing how to interpret it, is knowing the genre, right? And so when we think literal, we think our history books or our whatever, but the Bible was written in many different genres, and it was written with a lot of, even listening to Jesus's parables, you have a lot of hyperbole a lot of times, and in one situation it says something, and in another situation something else, and you're like, wait, which one? And that's something that I'm still growing in, but understanding that the Bible is meant to, it's not just black and white. It's like the life is really complex, and so one of the things that I come back to is in Proverbs. It says, "Answer a fool according to his folly." And then he's like, don't answer a fool according to his folly, something like that. There's like two almost exact opposites, but the idea is sometimes this, sometimes this. So, yeah, part of understanding the Bible is recognizing that it is written with all these things in mind, right?
Yeah.
And knowing that. But
yeah, it was just interesting because, like you said, we think of the New Testament, you think of parables, like, and I know that there's more literary devices, like in Revelation, what is that called? The
apocalyptic, symbolic,
yeah. But I just was like, wait, First John is poetic, so it just kind of made me think, like, what does that mean exactly, or how does that kind of contribute to what he's saying and our understanding of how what he's saying through the lens of how he's saying it.
Yeah, and it's so important. I mean, reading the Bible is like learning how to read the Bible well. It's like trying to learn a different language, because really it was written in a different language to a different culture. So as we, like, there is so much that we can understand without understanding the cultural background and everything. But the more we understand that, the more we understand how it applies to us as well. So I mean, it's just that. I mean, that's what's wonderful about the Bible. It recognized the complexity of life. I was just listening to a sermon this morning by a theologian that I really like, and he was talking about how people come to it exactly like you were saying. They want an answer book, they want a reference book, I have a problem with life, I go here. But you read it and it's like, no, it's a story that has all kinds of different genres, and it will sometimes seem to say this and sometimes seem to say that, and so it's so easy to pull things out of context and almost make anything sound, like, say this is biblical because I found it here, but if you don't recognize the context and then the rest of the Bible and where how it's applied in certain situations, it's just so complex. And that's why I love studying it, and why it's so good to keep studying it and reading it.
And that's kind of the beauty of it too, right? Is that, like, when we read English literature like Shakespeare or something like that, the beauty of it is just the language and the literary devices that are used, and that just adds something to it that sometimes can't be said when you're just doing regular prose. And to be able to, like, see that, like, I'm looking forward to reading First John now, because I'm like, I want to look for that. I want to see, how did John use literary devices in order to get his point across.
Yeah, it's so great. Yeah, so I hope that you're having good discussions around First John. I'm excited to work through this summer, and excited about what lies ahead. Thank you for sharing some of your thoughts too. Looking ahead, we have it's summertime. We have camps coming through the church. We have a Strings the Thing camp this week coming up, and then we'll have drama camp coming up, and I think we have around 30 kids that are going to be part of that. So 30. Some of those are from our church family, and a lot of these are from families that we are connected with, and so we have a great way to be a part of more lives in that, and it's just really exciting. We're starting to plan for all of that, and we're continuing to plan for all of that. So and on Sunday we will continue First John, and so I'm looking forward to seeing you all there. I don't think there's anything else that we needed to let you know of this week, so have a great week, and we'll see you Sunday.